Legends, welcome back to another episode of the Ruck Infringement Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joey, and this is a Ruck Infringement special interview with none other than Danny Nutley. Danny, how you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you, Joey?
Mate, I am great. It is a pleasure to have you on. We've been trying to get this going for a while. We finally got there. Let's start off with introducing you. Who are you, and did you always want to play rugby league?
Yeah, mate. When I was young, it was just a sport we played. Just all our mates played, and and it just um took me to a great career.
Yeah, great. Let's talk about coming through the grades. Now, who did you start off with and take us through that progression?
Redcliffe Dolphins was my junior club from
Yep.
under 13s right through to I played in the Brisbane first grade team as well.
Yeah, wow.
Then from there, I went to the South Queensland Crushers. Uh, got signed up to go to England at the end of that year and went over there for 4 years and come back to Cronulla. Then went back to England and come back to the Roosters in Cronulla again.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
yeah, I jumped on that plane over to England a couple of times. Yeah.
Yes, well, we'll get to that very soon. But first, let's talk about the NRL and let's talk about your debut game. Were you nervous and how did you go?
Yeah, but the first game when I was with the Crushers, yeah, I remember because Steve Bleakley was my Colts coach at Redcliffe, and he
Oh, yes.
also coached at the Crushers. And I remember when he selected me to play in the first grade team, and it was just like the biggest buzz ever.
Yeah.
Gone from the BRL comp the year before into, it was the ARL then.
Mm.
That was when the ARL and the Super League war was on the last year of that. So yeah, it was a pretty big buzz. Yeah.
Did you think it was a G up at first? Did you think he was serious?
Uh no, chicken's not one of them blokes that mucks around. He's
That's
all or
good.
nothing. Yeah, yeah. So no, it was yeah, it was just surreal,
Mm.
to think like you gone from one league and then the next year you're playing in the top league. And I remember like the year before that, I was because I'm a baker by trade. I was working at my mum and
Yeah.
dad's bakery at Daybra, and I just remember standing out on the veranda one night having a coffee, and I'm just going to give league one more go, one more real good go next year, and see if I can make it. And it sort of that was one of them points where you go, yeah, you've achieved what you wanted to achieve. When
Mm.
they actually called my name out to play in that first grade team, yeah, it
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah, incredible, mate. Now in footy circles, everyone has a nickname. Can you tell everyone what yours was?
Nuts. I've been called nuts since I was about 8 years old at school. Yeah, so
Based off the last name, or did they think you're a
based
little
off
bit
the last
crazy?
name. Bit of both, actually.
I love it, mate. That's a really good one. Now, were you superstitious, or did you have any teammates that were superstitious?
I was a little bit superstitious, like just little things on game day that I always
Yeah.
did, you know. Another thing I used to do is my whole footy career, I never sat on the couch to watch TV. I always sat on the floor and
Wow.
stretched. Yeah,
Okay.
so it just felt like I was being lazy if I did that. If I
Mm.
sat on the couch, so I just sat on the floor and stretched and did all little exercises and that. Um, yeah, superstitions. Um, not really. I don't remember any that really stuck out that
Yeah.
from other players. There are a lot of weird blokes do weird stuff on their own before the game day. So,
Yeah. I've heard a few. I heard about Mick Crocker used to always vomit. Um, apparently, and yeah, that was that was pretty wild for a lot of people. But
yeah, yeah. Well, um, Croc was in that Origin team I played in, and yeah, I remember him spewing his hole up before the game.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's wild. Mate, who was your footy idol when you were growing up?
Footy. Well, I loved the Queensland team. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, one of them things you always dream of as a kid coming through playing footy. But like that, the '94 team for the Canberra Raiders, that I always remember that grand final. I remember sitting there with my mates and we were watching it and we just went, how good would that be to play in one of them? And that was one of the best grand finals I've watched against Balmain. I
Yeah.
think it was a 30. I had a coffee with Steve Walters yesterday and he was saying that they're having a 30-year
Yeah. I interviewed
reunion
Dave
this
Furner
year.
a couple of weeks ago, and Dave Furner said, it's their 30th anniversary in a couple of
Yeah,
weeks, so they're doing getting
all the
organised for that.
players
But
are
nah,
going. Yeah,
incredible team, mate.
yeah.
Like that. You look at some of the names in that team, and you just go, wow.
Well, yeah, that
Amazing.
Canberra team was basically the Australian team.
Yeah, that's right.
When you look at
Yeah.
it, Daly, Stewart,
Mm,
Steve
yeah.
Walters, Glenn Lazarus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some massive names, isn't it? Mate, you played in the Super League and the NRL. Now, which comp did you enjoy more, and what were some of the differences at the time?
Obviously, the NRL for the prestige, like coming through, like that's all you wanted to be as a
Yeah.
junior coming through. You want to play in the NRL or it was this ARL then. But the Super League had its ups too. Like
Mm,
the crowds over there, the like 15,000 pommies will make 1,000 times more noise than 30,000 Aussies.
yeah.
The atmosphere of the games over there is second to none of what we get here. Yeah,
And they got songs for
there's
everything. Like they're very
songs for
vocal.
everything. Oh, mate, they're just brilliant, and that just they get into the game. They
Mm,
get a real good atmosphere. Like I remember playing at Castleford one Sunday afternoon against Leeds, and it was like the local derby there, mate. There was only 15,000 people there, I think, and mate, it sounded like there was 30 or 40,000 people there. It was that loud.
yeah, wow. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
was
incredible,
unreal.
mate.
Yeah,
Now, who was one of the funniest players you played alongside?
funniest. Darren Burns.
Oh yeah,
Um, he played for South and the Roosters and that. He coming through, he was a funny man, mate.
there we go.
Yeah, Darren Burns was like coming through as juniors. He was just a joker and one of them blokes that's always got something to say and always cracking a joke about something. But in the senior levels, probably Chris Beattie. He's a good mate of
Oh
mine, and
yes.
we used to play practical jokes on me all the time. So it was good. Yeah,
I think it's so good to have too. It's good to have those larrikins in the camp as well. So I think it's very important. Now, going off the back of that, can you tell us some stories about some of the great characters you played with?
great characters. Oh yeah, Will Beats for one of them.
Mm,
He what where were we? It was Christmas. The second year I was at the Sharks, and the training session before Christmas we'd do the sandhills at Wanda. Anyway,
yeah.
all all year he's stole my car. He'd find the keys every time and steal it and park it in a car park where I couldn't find it. It used to take me like half an hour each training session to find it. Anyway, this one day there was the last training session and I got back and I was absolutely spent and I was laying on the ground and I looked over and I seen my car was missing and I was just going, mate, fuck have you done with my car this time? Anyway, he goes, Merry Christmas, Nutley, as he drove out of the car park. Anyway, I found my car. It was in the bush. And he stuck this massive big Christmas tree straight through both windows and out the passenger side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Those are just some of the things he used to do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely wild. That is awesome, mate. Love that. Now, let's move into Origin. You had your Origin appearance in 2005. Of course, were you nervous? And what was it like? What was that atmosphere like?
I'll never forget the noise. Like, I
Mm,
still, to this day, I can still hear the noise of when we
yeah,
actually ran out onto the field. But the whole week was just awesome. Um, I remember getting the phone call. Well, the footy manager at the time come and grabbed me at Cronulla and said, "Listen, you've been selected." And I went, "Oh, how good's that?" And
yeah,
as soon as he said that, my phone rang, and it was Mark Corn. And Corny goes, "Oh, nuts! I've just heard you've been selected. Rip in, mate." But one thing I've got to tell you is, he said, just take your time and take it easy during the week and soak it all up. He said,
yeah,
otherwise it'll just pass you by really quickly. And I really took
yeah,
that on, and I just enjoyed every day, and just I was very grateful for every opportunity I got that week, to do different stuff with the team and all that sort of stuff. And that's one thing I'll remember, because and he said to me at the end, he goes, "Mate, the game will go like that." He said, "Just
mm,
enjoy it." And it did. I still
it flew.
remember coming off in the second half and sitting on the bench and just going, "There's only like 5 minutes to go," and I was just like, "Where did that game go?" And it was just next level speed too, like, because I remember playing St George down at Wollongong the Friday night after, and it was
Mm,
like the game was in slow motion compared to
yeah.
the one I played a couple of days earlier. It was just unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. It's look, obviously it's the pinnacle of rugby league, and then obviously playing for Australia as well. But uh,
Yeah.
incredible that you got there, mate, and you were great to watch. I remember 2005 series well. Let's
Mm.
talk about some finals appearances, and was that a step up in performance when you played in finals?
Yeah, yeah. It was just like because every time we got to the finals, it was you had to win. you know, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
it was always knockout. So no, it was good. Like
mm,
the we I still remember when we got beaten by the Warriors
mm,
that in 2002. It was just like one of them games that was just, it felt like we were going to win all the time. It
yeah,
was just we ran out of time to win, So
yeah,
yeah, that was a bit disappointing, but you know, yeah, we we did well the years we got there. Like even in 2008 when we got to the last game there, it was just like we shouldn't have really got that far that year. We had a
yeah.
lot of injuries and that go against us. So we did pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Now you were named in the Super League Dream Team in 2006. What an achievement that was!
Yeah, yeah, it was that was great to be part of that team. There was some
Mm,
really good players in that team. Now that I look back on it, um, yeah, and it was just being in a team that was relegated that year as well, and making
mm,
it, which is
yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, I won a couple of
yeah,
awards um at the Super League Awards that year too, for most hit ups and
yeah.
most tackles as well. So it's
That's
good.
that's great. It's always what you want to hear, mate. How was retirement for you?
Retirement was good. Has been good for me. Like
Yeah,
when I very first retired, I went into business with someone that I thought was my mate, and ended up being the opposite. There's a million stories of that going on, but
yeah,
and
yeah.
I got out of that, but it led me into a career in mining. So, and I did that for 15 years, and I really
Wow.
enjoyed every part of that. Yeah, I I got to meet some really great people, and I learned a lot of cool stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and then now I give that away just purely for health reasons. In
Mm.
2008, I got diagnosed with cancer. So
Oh, jeez.
I'm very lucky, but mate, they got it and it hasn't come back. I've got my
Oh,
5 year
incredible, mate.
test this year. And um, I'm doing support work now, so which is even more rewarding. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a great job. Yeah.
That's awesome, mate. And I was gonna say, so after footy, did you stay involved in the game at all?
No, not at all. mate. I got away from it altogether, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never really wanted to stay or be a coach or anything like that. Like,
Mm.
no, what? You couldn't pay me enough money to be an NRL coach, so it's just that
You see what they
cutthroat.
go through, man.
Yeah. Oh, look at Jason Demetrio. Like, that's just,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
But, and, like, he's getting judged on a team that's got 8 of his first starting team missing. That's
Yeah,
just cutthroat, eh?
yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, but yeah, I never stayed involved, mate. I've got a few mates that I keep in contact with. I don't keep in contact with many, but yeah, I've got a few good mates that I keep in contact with. That's about it.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
that's great, mate. Now, if you could change one rule in the NRL, what would that
Mate, there's so many at the moment. Like, that's the Shepherd rule. The Shepherd rule is
be? Yeah.
disgraceful. It's a blight on our game. It's like
Mm,
the way they referee it is terrible. It's disgusting.
yeah,
It just made
I agree.
it like you're trying to introduce people to rugby league and they see that and they like people that have been around the game for years and years are confused. How would
Yeah.
someone coming into the game see that? And then, yeah, it was just like I turned Dolphins game off the other night when
Yeah.
they penalised Jesse Bromwich for that high tackle when
Oh,
oh mate fell into his hand.
the
Like
high five.
that's just like that shouldn't be about. And that was the video ref that made that call,
Mm,
And but one thing I would say is like the video ref should have a pass player sitting beside them, or a pass player should be the video ref. I
yeah.
believe, or they should teach them because you get a heap more consistency, especially with that Shepherd. Well, there's blokes just throwing themselves on the ground now that just because they know that they're going to get a penalty and it won't be a try
Yeah. That's right.
when they're actually put themselves in the wrong position for a start. You know,
I think it was
uh,
James Graham came out the other day and said that he would like to see in the bunker a former player, a former coach, and a ref as well.
yeah, right,
Yeah, just
yeah.
to like be able to, decide on that, on those interpretations of the ruling. So who knows what they're going to do moving forward? But yeah, mate,
Yeah,
that's a
I
very
think
big
that'd
one.
be too. That'd just drag the game out too much. But I,
Yeah,
it's not a bad idea. Like just having one or two of them in there.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure, absolutely, mate. Now, what is one piece of advice that you could give a young player coming through the grades?
be grateful and enjoy it.
Yeah,
Enjoy every
very
minute
nice.
because it can be very very short. You
Yeah.
know, you always use the Yowie thing,
Mm,
his career. Like he's gone from being the best winger in Australia in the Australian team, and then
yep.
2 weeks later he snaps his ankle and he's out. He never plays football again. That's what you just got to be grateful and just enjoy it while you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was such a good player, and yeah, that was so sad to see. Mate, let's before we finish up, can you give us an early prediction for 2024? We're into round 10 now. Season's starting to take shape. Who's your prediction to win the comp this year?
I I believe the Broncos. If the Broncos on their day, if they just get a few little things right, they just got to hold the ball and like they're like kids in a lolly shop at the moment. They always
Yeah,
because they've got so much talent out there,
yeah.
they just see gaps and they see like they just want to score on every play. But if they can
Mm,
calm that down, and they did went a little bit better last night, with that Ezra and Reece Walsh, they calmed down a bit, and
yeah,
like it was more of a consistent win. If they can do that, they'll beat every team by 20 points. I believe they've just got so much talent and so much speed out wide.
yeah,
Um, but if you just go on consistency, you got a Penrith and I believe Redcliffe. I believe
they're
Wayne's
looking good.
he's got a good team there this year. Yeah, it'll be
Mm,
if Brisbane pull their head in and calm down a bit. I reckon they'll smash everyone. But if not, it'll be the Dolphins. I reckon it'll win.
yeah, it's been really good to see Dolphins in the top four at the moment. So they're sitting pretty and they're looking good. They're I think they're defying the odds, and people always say this like you forget that Wayne Bennett coach teams are always going to succeed. They're always going to do well.
Yeah.
And every year people go, oh, I don't know, he's getting on, but he just knows how to coach. He knows how to get the most out of the players.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a really good shout.
The one game I'll go back to is the Dragons game where they played at Dolphin Oval the week after they got smashed in that first game.
Yeah.
Mate, they just did. It was a Wayne Bennett team. They just kicked in the corner, chased, and just
right.
kicked in the corner and chased, and they just did all the simple things right, And that's, when I seen that, I went, oh, they're going to go a long way, this team, if they just keep doing that, And they had a few out, like Police and all that were out as well. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
I reckon they'll be good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all we got time for today on this awesome interview. Thank you so much, Danny. We really appreciate you coming on. Don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X at the Ruck Infringement Podcast, of course. And check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel as well. We'd like to thank Danny. That's Danny. I'm Joey. Wherever you are, be good.
See you later.